7th at 5:30. Please stand and put your hand over your heart. Follow me in saluting the greatest flag in the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michael.
If you'd all bow your heads. Heavenly Father, again we ask you to be with participants tonight as we deliberate proceedings. Ensure that actions taken are in the best interest of all. And in a special request from our general manager, please give San Diego State a little extra strength tonight as it tries to advance in the NCAA basketball.
Okay, roll call please.
Director Robert Uten.
Here.
Director Arlene Schaefer.
Here.
Director Arthur Terry.
Here.
Vice President Michael Schaefer.
Here.
And President James Sperriman.
Present.
Thank you.
At this time, we do have a ceremonial matter, and I'd like to ask Steve Conroe to please come on up here.
I wondered why he was all dressed up.
He cleans up pretty good, doesn't he?
Is there any hair wax left in that thing?
For all of you who don't know, and I'm sure you all do, we're presenting him this award of excellence in recognition of obtaining the California Water Environmental Association Grade 4 certification for collection system maintenance. And from what I understand, this is not an easy thing to attain.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's very, it's a very difficult exercise, and Steve, thank you for your fortitude and sticking it out, and it's great to have you with us. Congratulations.
Attaboy, Steve.
Did I ask a question? Is there another level that you can meet? That's it? Okay.
No, grade 4 is high as they go in
I was
collections.
checking. I didn't know.
Thank God.
Thanks, Steve. Congratulations.
Way to go, Steve.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna take that chair off for you.
Okay, no, wait a minute. Okay.
Actually, my wife wrote part of the introduction to all the technical certification
funny, guys.
booklets.
We did it on purpose.
Oh,
That's
brother.
comment director.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, whoopee cushion, right?
Yeah.
Any late communications?
Thank you, Mr. President. We just have one late communication from Mr. Mosier, just some minor corrections to minutes.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will be accepting public comments to the board, and we do have a request from Jim Mosier. Jim?
Yes, thank you, President Sperriman and members of the board. My name is Jim Mosier, and the non-agenda comment I wanted to make was about the distribution of the agendas. I don't know how the board members get the agenda, but as you know, for the last couple of years, we've been trying to save money, distribute the agendas to the public exclusively electronically, which means people go to the website. Originally, there was just a simple link there. You could click on that, and you'd get a PDF file that had all the staff reports and stuff for the entire meeting. And I don't know what the problem was with that system. Maybe it was a kind of a big download. And then for a few months, you would click on the link, and you'd get connected to an external website, something called Dropbox, and you could see the agenda and all the items, and there was actually a button you could download all the items at once if you wanted to. And I know people are well-intentioned in trying to make things easier and easier, but now when the public clicks on that thing for the agenda, you get just the page of the agenda, and it has links in it, and some software those links work with, some they don't exactly work with. And if you find a web browser that they work with, you have to go to each one and click through a number of things. So it's actually gotten more burdensome for the public to see those than it was. And we have this separate archival system, the Laserfish system, that keeps all the board items on it, but they're not there until after the meeting. So it perhaps could be made better. And then the second comment I wanted to make is looking to see if there was an alternative, easier way to get to the agenda. I did look through there and notice all the ordinance passed in the entire 70-year history of the district, and a later agenda item, you'll be passing something called Ordinance 99. And I noticed that due to a little mix-up last year, there's actually two ordinances numbered 97, so this will actually be number 100, the 100th ordinance that the district has adopted in its entire history. And I would like to, I think, congratulate the district on the admirable restraint it shows. Within 70 years, you've only had to impose new rules and regulations on average about once a year. And as a follow-up to that, I would say if passing an ordinance is a rather momentous and unusual thing, although districts are apparently not required to that, one might consider what cities are actually by state law required to do, which is when they're adopting an ordinance, to have a first reading at one meeting and then actually adopt it after they've slept on it until the next meeting. Because you might have seen something you're a little uneasy with, and the public doesn't really know what's going on until it's had its first reading. And I find it a little unusual that a special district, it's just, you see it the first time and then it's law immediately. So those are my off-agenda comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Art? Scott, talking about the agenda online, is the way we're doing now the best way, or does Mr. Mosier have a point?
We'll look into that. It's, we try to make it as convenient and as simple as possible. And Melania will sit down and we'll see what improvements can be made.
Because we want to make it as easy as we can for the public.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just a quick comment, I know, and I've told Noah, I think I've told you this, my system that I use at the office is regulated by my company, but it lets most things go through. It won't let me open a Dropbox, so my iPad, my personal iPad, I can open the Dropbox, so there are some constraints in there, I think they're aware of that. It could be the operating system that the person's on.
If that's the problem, they have a different operating system, and they can't get to the agendas, and,
Exactly.
we're not doing our job.
Well, it would be nice to have that feature that downloads it all, because I get done with one, then I have to go back, find the agenda, go to the thing, and open another one. But it's doable, but
Okay,
And then just want to talk about Mr. Mosier brought up 99 versus 100, is that correct?
I don't know. We'll have to look back and look into that. I don't know. So, look into that.
okay, let's move along. Are there any other public that would like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move along to consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any director would like to pull for discussion?
I just, Mr. Mosier told you some corrections. Can you tell us what those are?
It's just grammar.
Okay, grammar,
like
okay, sounds good.
apostrophes.
Because I didn't want to approve it if it's in the,
Yeah.
okay.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion. Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. No public hearing. Ordinance 99, amending operations code pertaining trash regulations and recycling.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, as Mr. Mosier has said, this could be possibly ordinance number 99 or an ordinance number 100, but we'll look into that. But this ordinance is a reflection after the board tentatively approved the agreement with CRNR for their organic recycling program. So before that contract goes into effect, we have to amend the ordinance to reflect the new programs that we'll be implementing, specifically the organic recycling program. So that's what ordinance number 99 does. And I can answer more questions if you have.
Any questions of Scott or just comments?
I think we're going to talk later, or at least those of us that attended the SWANA conference over the week. There was a presentation by the city of Tacoma, Washington. And they had a thing called the Brown Bucket Brigade. And like our little food container that we're going to give out, they did a brown bucket. And one of the things that I thought was really, that I really liked about what they did with that brown bucket, they actually had a little chart, a little picture chart that they placed on that bucket that showed people what they could put in there. And the girl who made the presentation from up there, I have her information, I was going to email her, and see if she said she could send us one.
Great.
So if you can follow up on that instead of me, because I'll forget. Yeah, I'll just I'll have to get that for you. Or, you know what, Elizabeth Pham may have that information.
Yeah, she has
She
it.
was taking the
Okay.
notes on it.
Great.
And I just, if we can add that in any way, I think it would help people. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Any further discussion?
We're amending an ordinance that says, that has a definition of mixed waste containers, so we'll have to revise this later when we do the organics program.
No, the mixed waste definition is in the ordinance, that we didn't have that definition in the original
Oh.
ordinance, so that's what,
Yeah,
that's what
right.
you're being approved
That's
tonight.
what we're doing.
This actually fixes that problem.
Yes.
Oh, mixed waste, what you mean? Oh, got it.
Move for approval of ordinance number 99.
Second?
Been moved and seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
I could add one thing. I thought there were several very good definitions in here, and I've taken them out and put them where I could find it, and that is the definitions of what recycling materials are acceptable and what's permitted in the organics material. Are those somewhere else on our website? You know, I expect it's there several times. I just haven't researched it, but I thought the ordinance had good definitions of what was to be in the one bin, and
Yes, we do have that in our presentations. It's very similar to what we're presenting in the town hall meetings, and
Yeah.
so that information is on the website. It's on the homepage. Yes.
and when we bring up the homepage, there's frequently asked questions about trash, and it has nothing in there with reference to organic materials, the organic program. I like it being prominent, and I was reading it, but I think we ought to consider making it as easy to get to the frequently asked questions, which there were 100 or so that staff answered in one of the agenda reports.
That is on the website right now.
It's not as prominent as the frequently asked questions for the existing trash program. I mean, that's what I thought I was going to get to. Turns out it was very good information on the existing trash program. Frequently asked questions.
Any other comments? Let's move along to number 9, Government Finance Officers Association Annual Conference.
Thank you, Mr. President. Winnie Davis will be giving the presentation.
Hi. Staff is requesting the approval of out-of-state travel for Caitlin Tran to attend the GFOA conference. It's a great conference, very technical, and it was not included in the budget this year. It was included in the budget last year, but she wasn't able to attend due to the vacancies. And so we're requesting that the money is there, but she be approved for out-of-state travel. She has applied for a scholarship for the registration fee, $425, and received it. So we would not have to pay that.
Great. Is there any certification that goes along with this? Can she participate?
You know, there is, the GFOA does offer some certified financial officer classes. She would have to apply, and these conferences would go towards some of the classes will go towards it. And we've talked about perhaps doing that. It's a great certification, it's a great program. And you can see I listed some of the conference seminars from last year, and they're very applicable to things that we're doing right now. And because it's nationwide, you kind of get some of the most cutting edge information. The cream of the crop of people that are doing innovative things are bringing it there. So it's a great program.
Move approval.
Second. Is further discussion?
Hope it thaws out in Minneapolis before poor Caitlin goes back
When is she going back?
in May.
Oh, it'll be.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yeah,
Are these expenses just estimated or are they actual?
They're estimated at this point. She did go on and look for airfare, but it's early. It's still plenty of time, so that should be pretty close. I think we can keep it on.
So if one
track.
thing is above another, that's okay.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Item 10, strategic plan progress report. Scott?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As you know, back in April of 2013, the board amended the strategic plan to include some additional goals, actually replaced the goals that we already achieved. Halfway through the 5-year plan, we achieved over half of the goals, so the board adopted some new goals, and then we ratified the amended strategic plan on May 28, 2013. This is just a progress report of staff's accomplishments or progress being made to achieving those goals since the plan was ratified back in May. And the attachment is lists all the goals and the status where we're at to date. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from Scott?
Just one, 2.1, the Solid Waste Citizens Academy,
Yes.
we did delay that. It's not gonna happen on April 5th, correct?
Correct, and that's what we said in the report. It could be delayed because of a few interested people. So the board directed us to focus more on tours.
Right.
And try to get more people to participate in tours.
Any further comments? Entertain a motion?
It's just
Or
a receive and
just
file.
for-
Yes, just receive and file.
Move for approval.
No,
No, we don't need it.
Oh,
Just
sorry, we
receive and
don't.
file. Item 11, the
that?
SCADA technician, industrial electrician position.
Thank you, Mr. President. This item was presented to the board on your study session on March 18th, and I believe the board in concept supported the position, but was really asking for additional information to bring back for tonight. One of those issues was the salary range, and before I go into that, where staff is recommending this position is twofold. First is obviously safety issues. We have one staff person that is dedicated to our pump station and he's working solely by himself. So we believe it's for safety reasons he needs to have another person with him all the time. Secondly, we are recommending a SCADA technician / industrial electrician because of the complexity of our SCADA system and our electrical system at the pump station. It would behoove the district to have a professional on staff that can analyze those issues right on the spot and get them resolved. We believe we can save some money by having a two-man team. Now we won't have to contract out for any PM services because we have a new crane truck, and now we have a two-man team. We would have a two-man team. They can perform that work instead of contracting that out. That would be a savings of about $35,000 a year. So there's definitely some benefits by having a two-man team at the pump stations. So I believe there was basically three issues or three differences I brought back tonight from the 18th. And the first one was the salary range, and the board wanted me to bring back a refined salary range and gave me a latitude to at least look at the fair market value in Orange County. And so what I did is, and in your staff report, is a list of similar positions in Orange County for special districts and cities. And so, and this information I got from their websites. And so I believe what I'm proposing, the new salary range, which is about a 5% decrease from what I was recommending on September 18th, is a fair market value for this position. The second item was the board wanted me to make sure that we indicate in the job description that the incumbent would be cross-trained on operational use of the district sewer combo truck, which again we included a copy of the job descriptions, and you'll see bolded where we put that in there. And then thirdly, what I added on to your staff report is an org chart to kind of show you where this position would fit in the organization. And this position will be right under the maintenance supervisor position. It is a high-level position, higher than the maintenance worker position. So I wanted to show you where that would fit if you approve this position tonight. If you do approve the position tonight, then we will begin recruiting the next day, and hopefully we'd have the person on board by July 1.
You know, I noticed on the salary page, step the 115,000 is a step 7.
Correct.
So you're saying that's what we would be hiring someone in at, or that
No.
that would be the most that they would be able to make?
Correct. That would be, what I'm asking is the board to give me some latitude for negotiations if it comes to that, depending on the person's qualification and experience. And just for the public's information, $115,000, that's totally fully burdened.
Right.
That's salary, retirement, Medicare, cafeteria, workers' comp, total, salaries and benefits.
But chances are, we're gonna hire them in at, you know, step 4 or some different.
Correct.
Depends on who it
Yes,
is.
depends on what their currently position is at whatever it's a private or public sector, what their current salary range is, what they're asking, if it's agreeable. But
Yeah.
what I'm just asking is if the board will allow me to have some room to negotiate.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Bob?
Well, the job description says that, you know, he'll be supervised. You know, he will work for Steve.
Yes.
No one in the organization probably has, you know, the ability to train this person in the technical specialties that you're asking for, and that's the reason for the position. So I think you do need to have someone with experience. I would support a motion that, you know, doesn't give you latitude above step 4, and that's because I believe you need somebody that has experience, because there's no one in the agency that can help them in their technical specialty. They can provide supervision. Several of you can provide supervision, and that kind of the tipping point for me is, you know, that's $100,000 position. And people take note of those kinds of pay, irrespective of the responsibility or the agency's need for them, you know, because it's a $100,000 position. So I would encourage the board to limit your authority to step 4 or lower, and until and unless you can't find anybody at that level, you know, and then I think you need to come back to the board and work with us, you know, to try to convince us, you know, that someone deserves something more than that. Our managers barely make $100,000, you know, so it's hard for me to want to give you the authority to go that high.
I have the same concept that Director Eaton has. I would rather have you start step 1 myself, but I know you have to have some flexibility, but I wouldn't agree to have you go over step 4. But I would consider lesser a step as an entry position.
My take on it is, you did the survey of the different entities that have positions like this, right?
Yes.
And this is reflective of what they're paid.
Correct.
You know, if we don't know who we're going to get as applicants, if we get somebody who's really knowledgeable, really experienced, I don't want to tie Scott's hands, and if he's the right guy for the job, you know, 14 or 15,000 bucks, you know, isn't going to make or break us, and I would prefer to give you that latitude. You've already done your homework as far as how to justify it with the other agencies, and I don't, you know, I mean, it's a lot of money. I don't like spending that kind of money, but this is an important position, and you know, we need to have the best people in those types of jobs that we can get. Bob, let's
Okay.
let's let anybody else comment first, and then we can go back to you. Anybody else have a comment?
I hear both sides of this, and I the fact that we're going to save the $35,000 from the outside that we're spending now kind of tempers my thought process to lean more toward what you're saying, Jim. I mean, without that savings, I would probably be more inclined to keep it at the lower, but I agree. If we get someone who's just the diamond,
Yeah, we don't know who we're going into.
Yeah, I almost feel that we, we need to see what's going on through Scott's eyes, and, we.
That's why we hire Scott. He hires
Absolutely.
these people. We don't, but if we don't like what he does, then we can do something about it.
And I think he knows from what we're all saying where everybody is, so to me, that gives him direction.
Okay. Bob?
My preference is that this person not be hired in at above Steve's pay, and I think this exceeds Steve's present pay. Doesn't?
No, it does not.
I stand corrected.
Rob, did you have a comment?
Yes, just wanted to say that, thank you for considering this position. We are going live with one of our generators in the next few days, and the backup pumping equipment some of it's been delivered, and this is a very hard position to fill. It's almost like specialty work. So, as you know, we took out the very advanced controller at the Irvine station that led to the big sewer spill. So, very hard to fill. OCSD found the best people they could and paid them a lot of money and keeps their team as employees, because contracting out is so hard for this type of position. I do believe Scott said at the last meeting we're spending approximately $75,000 already for this. So it's been very important. So I just want to let you know.
Thank you. Any other comments? Bob?
I don't want anyone to believe that by my comments, I don't think this is an important position. I think it's extraordinarily important, and I think we're quite late in even acquiring this talent. I rest my case.
Well, if anybody on the board knows how valuable this position is, it's got to be you.
Yep.
just one quick clarification. You know, in the chart, Scott, you've got the steps and then the PERS.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be medical and not Medicare?
It's Medicare. It's
That's-
what the district pays to Medicare.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
The medical comes out of there.
It's out of the.
Yeah,
Yeah, I realize that.
Cafe.
Oh, never mind. I know what you're talking about. Sorry. Oops.
Any further discussion?
Well, I make a motion that to go with the staff recommendation.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Bob, did you, well, you made the motion.
I made the motion.
I'm assuming
Just
you
hold on,
voted
just
for
hold
it.
on, hold on.
Well, I vote yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
When I was chair, I never voted.
Yeah, we remember.
Okay, let's move along.
I'm just in a bad habit. I picked it.
Project status report. Rob?
If you don't have to. Thank you, Mr. President. Perhaps I'd be happy to answer questions on any of the projects.
Any board members have questions for Rob?
One comment was that I believe Wendy was working on a proposed new format, and do we have any results?
We are working on a new format, to add, any budgeted amounts when it's estimated, the project's approved, or as we do bid openings.
Bid, yeah.
And we've sent an example to, Director Uden to kind of see if that's fitting on what he wants. And we're, working on having it for the next meeting if it's approved in concept.
Very good. Thank you for your efforts there. Okay, item 13, accept improvements for project 197, system-wide sewer reconstruction phase 3.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Item 14, project 196, a backup pumping units at Eldon, Victoria, Mendoza stations, request for change order approval.
I move approval based on the fact that we've discussed this in study session and whatnot.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
And did that include the transfer also, the budget transfer? That was both items?
Yes.
I assume that that was included in
Yes.
the motion.
And the second.
Yeah. Treasurer's report.
No reports this evening.
Thank you. Attorney's report.
Nothing to report, except we did send off our FPPC request, as you probably got a copy of, so we'll wait and see what they have to say.
Okay.
See if we can keep the talent.
Local meetings. Orange County Sand District, I was at last night, and just briefly, one of our contractors omitted, Steve Rados and Company,
Yeah.
omitted like a $4 million piece of this RFP. So he had to drop out. Can you imagine the guy making that mistake?
And
I mean,
he
they
recognized
won
it
the
within 5
contract.
days and could get out of the contract and
Right.
everything?
He has
They
to get
blew him
out real quick.
off the saddle.
Yikes.
So, yeah, that was kind of a weird deal.
That estimator probably got his butt moved.
Yeah. And then, they also took action, one of the policies they have at Orange County Sand District was the chairman could go to 10 meetings a month and get compensated for it. And a regular board member just 6. Well, they changed that. Now the chairman can only get 6. I guess it was, they weren't really using it anyway, but, so, that was, another, let's see, what was, Bob, you were there,
There were a lot of construction projects.
yeah, a lot of,
The thing was the change in policy for meeting attendance.
yeah. Okay, let's move along. Let's,
There was quite a discussion. Interesting part of the discussion was on the CIP project, the construction project that Chairman Ferryman mentioned. There was quite a discussion on contractors suing the district. Turns out that Kiewit, the second lowest bidder who was awarded the contract, had just finished the lawsuit with
Yeah.
but every one of them has been in lawsuits with the district. I mean,
a
but
few
they don't
months
win
ago.
much, but
a few months ago, that
yeah.
Malutin,
Maladen.
yeah. I
Bondage.
mean, that guy sued the district how many times, and we just gave him another contract.
Yeah.
I guess that's not a basis for not using it.
Anyway, Supervisor Wynn got quite a lengthy explanation from the attorney on
Yeah.
the fact that they could not deny him being a responsible and responsive bidder, even though they had just finished the lawsuit.
Did they prevail in the lawsuit?
No.
Oh.
Sanitary River Flood Control, I was at that meeting briefly before I had to run over here. The director was going to go back to DC, and it ended up he didn't go because of, number one, the weather was really bad, but as it turns out, we got the funding for the study for the Winterberg.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, that's really good.
For that Winterberg watershed. And I forget how much it was, but it came through. So at the end of the day, he didn't have to go back and do this. That was good.
Excellent.
That's really a big accomplishment right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And that's about all I had. I do have the materials
Yeah,
here.
Jim brought the package that if anybody would like to take a look at, more than welcome to.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't attend because I was here. Jim.
I set the land speed record from Fountain Valley to Costa Mesa. Independent Special Districts, ISDOT.
I actually missed the meeting because I was in Arizona that week. Sorry.
Are you going to do us a report on the Angels?
Yeah, you're gonna be seeing the same team you saw last year.
Oh,
don't
no.
say that. Okay, CSDA.
Participated in actually 3 conference calls on membership committee and education committee. And then, again, I'm on a subcommittee to help pick the speakers for the conference this year. So we looked at about 30 YouTube videos of speakers for the CSDA, and I think you guys are going to be impressed. Stephen Covey's son is going to be a keynote speaker. And the other guy we picked I think his name is Stephen Gray. He's a memory expert, which for you older people will be a really appropriate.
What's this older people?
I'm in there. This guy is amazing. His YouTube, when you looked at what he does, it's. I think you'll be pleased at the conference. So
Is it the August conference?
I don't remember. The September conference in San Diego.
CSDA?
CSDA.
Oh, I'm thinking of CASA.
Steve Covey's son, he's still alive, isn't he? I mean, he's sending his son out on the road now?
Well, I didn't. I asked that. I said, "Is this Covey?" And they said, "Well, it's not. It's not the real Covey." I said, "Is this the real Covey?"
Yeah.
And they said, "No, it's his son." So.
It's the son he talks about in his motivational talks.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the kid.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do what I told them to.
That's right. That's right. So, it'd be very impressive.
Okay, CASA. I don't think we had any events with this. Other meetings qualifying for reimbursement?
Oh. Okay, I went to the 70th anniversary committee with Art and staff, and we're all set. We've got all our things that we need for handouts for all the occasions, and also I just wanted to say, even though they're not here, that it's really neat if you've seen the CR&R's trucks with our 70th anniversary on it. It looks really good. And then I went to Waco meeting, the general meeting, and the Costa Mesa study session that we had. The chamber had the conference, the breakfast, and we all went to that, and Scott made us proud. It was really good. Turned out really neat. And we're on video, the city video. That's, of course, we don't have it.
That hasn't been shown yet?
No, they have to get it.
Yeah, Scott did a great job in
Yeah.
that presentation. I thought
Yeah.
everybody was pretty impressed.
Really turned out well. And then we had a public hearing that I attended, and I attended 3 of the organic workshops out of 4. That's it.
Very good. Anybody else?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I attended the SDRMA. We had our annual meeting, and then we had the Safety Claims Education Day. And the keynote speaker that morning, CSDA is going to get in 2 years. This guy was he's an FBI agent. I told you guys a line. He's an FBI agent, and he was undercover in hacking crimes. And one of his jobs after he came back from undercover was they would sentence these criminals for hacking crimes. He got them for 8 hours. He got to talk to them for 8 hours to learn how they hacked. And then the criminal would go to the judge after that 8 hours for sentencing. So they had to tell him the truth. And so then he had his laptop up on stage, and he brings up the screen, and he's on his laptop, and he starts showing us how hackers. He says, if you haven't been hacked yet, you will be. And he spent about a half hour hacking things and showing us how to do it, right? But I was telling these guys at Lions the funniest thing he did was, these on your smartphones, you can have you can lock the doors, or turn the lights on, and do all this stuff. He says, I went to Home Depot and bought one of these and loaded it to see how it could be hacked. And he actually started going through people's. He was able to bring people's little screens up. You'd see this little screen, and it would say lights off. He goes, watch this, lights on. And he was hacking people all over the country, turning their lights off and on, or setting their alarms off. And so I have his book. If anybody if you see this guy, you'll never go on the internet again. I guarantee it. It was really good. So it was quite a meeting.
Bob, did you guys?
Yeah, I attended the waste discharge meeting. And they talked about application of the new waste discharge regulations. We also had a field demonstration at Orange County Sand District about assisting staff from the various agencies, staff and management and supervisors, in learning how to judge sewer spills. So Orange County Sand District had built, actually a guy named Larkin built it when I was there. But they're still using it and perfecting it, and so you can turn 40 gallons a minute or 200 gallons a minute, and you can see how high the water comes around the rim and through the various size holes. And then they were working on doing other ways to analyze how much flow there was. And I went to the Orange County Sand District operations meeting, and a lot of construction projects were discussed. But the main thing they are doing is focusing. When I was there in 2002, we agreed with the Regional Water Quality Control Board to chlorinate our effluent, and that was because of the a lot of bacteria found along Huntington Beach shores. And gradually, as they've brought systems online, that chlorination amount has been significantly reduced. But it turns out that some of the chlorination byproducts are affecting some of the material, some of the worms and things and various critters that live in the mud close to the outfall. So they're working with the regional board to try to potentially mitigate and or eliminate the chlorination of the ocean discharge.
We were spending a lot of money on that.
Yeah, when I left it was a ton. Because we were chlorinating the primary, we weren't full secondary, but with full secondary treatment, it's lessened the need for it and made it easier. But there's still byproducts that attach to the solids, fall in the muds, kill the critters. Some of them, some of them look like this now. Anyway, that's all I have to report.
I'm sure Art's got some comments about Swana. Before we attended the Swana conference, that was one of the best conferences I think we've done, that anybody's done. And we talked a little bit about the presentations that were made about the animal digestion. This session generated a whole lot of questions for me that I wish CR and I would stuck around. Yeah. I'm almost, I don't know, I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say. It's almost, I would like to sit down with CR and in another session. Special meeting on or something with them, but there was a lot of stuff said that didn't maybe contradicted some of the stuff we've already heard.
That's what I said yesterday.
I think
Have
next
a
study
study
session,
session.
CR and the Heart. Yeah, we were. It's an education process. I think more than we need clarification on some of those statistics that were given us because it flew in the face of what we're looking at. Oh, as simple as the one person that said, you can't use a wet AD system unless you send everything through the garbage disposal first. And everybody else uses a dry AD system because wet systems weren't recommended. That really. Well, I asked Lawrence when he first came in what type of system we had. He says we have both, dry and wet. This is kind of, it's not universal, but it's something that the CRNR could be a speaker at one of the conferences and tell people about what they're doing. I think it'd be really great.
We all said that Mike would be shooing to do a
Mike would have done really well if they. And Dean also said that they are members of SWAN.
Yeah.
That Mike has gone up to San Jose a number of times. And I told him he should consider speaking. She said they were interested in doing it. And then one thing that Mike and I were going through the exhibits after one of the conferences, and we came across this one exhibit about the gas analyzer. When our guys go into the sewers, do they have a gas analyzer? This thing was really cool. I mean, it
It registers 5 different kinds of gases.
We brought
Let
this
me
for
look.
you to take a look. It's expensive, but it's,
They were like 10 grand a unit, but, I mean,
because we didn't know if we had one or not, or
Oh,
how
yeah.
we do that.
Oh, yeah.
We did. Yeah, they took that down.
Well, they
to
may,
Portugal.
yeah, they measure oxygen and hydrogen sulfide.
well, like the guy.
Steve, what do your instruments measure now? Oxygen and meth,
Gases, your gases.
your gas analyzers.
Carbon monoxide, NaOH, hydrogen sulfide,
I think they register 5 on this one, but you can take a look at it. I thought we want to make sure that we have the best protection possible.
The other thing that's interesting, and Bob and I were talking about this earlier, you know, these are people from all over the country that were at this conference. California, special districts must be totally unique to California, because people from other states had no idea what a sanitary district was.
And
You
most
know?
of them were like contractors.
There were a lot of contractors up there. That one guy that kept speaking from, asking questions was with Waste Management.
Yeah, that's right. Not only that, but I think we were the elite of special elected officials.
I think we were the only elected.
Well, I think the one
I mean, I don't really
person
know.
that announced
Understand that.
the groups was an elected official.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's
Well,
right.
yeah.
So there's like 5 of us.
Right.
It's quality, not quantity.
But I would recommend us looking into future ones, as long as it's on zero waste, so if we can learn from it.
Yeah, the next SWANA conference is in August, and I just kind of flipped through their website a little bit, and I think they are gonna have some more zero waste stuff, so if you don't mind checking on that one.
Is that the one in Palm Springs in August?
You know, Scott, in that study session, when we meet with CR&I, we need to fold into that us servicing the organics from the 400 restaurants that are in this city. I mean, it's got to happen. I mean, that's a lot of waste.
Well, the feedstock that the feedstock that's gonna come from the residences isn't gonna power that AV
No.
system for that.
That's what they're.
It just seemed like these people, everybody up there was talking about, it's the food product that's gonna be more important than the green.
It's
And
like
I don't
making
know.
a salad, and they
Yeah.
have different ways they
This
make it.
comes back to what you're talking about. The city has to start taking a look at this with the 12 vendors. They have to get it down to like 1 or 2 vendors that can take plot and have it going for AV.
Something's wrong in Denmark, but they're reporting, I think.
I could ask really.
Anyway, that's got to fold into our discussion.
Okay, definitely.
Well, the food waste is definitely more easily digestible by the microbes, but you can, anything can be digested as long as it can be solubilized by the microbes.
Well, the topic that came out pretty strong was that food causes gas, and that's what they kept saying.
Certain foods do.
Okay, any old business, new business, oral communications, and director comments? We kind of already did that. Next on our agenda is adjournment. And what time is it? All right, pretty good. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.